What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Gunplay TV, and today we're taking a look at yet another product from the boys at Spiritus Systems, okay? And so all of my loyal subscribers, my Gucci gear boys out there, you will recognize this as the Spiritus Systems Mk4 chest rig, okay? And so if you've watched the channel for some time, you'll realize that, well, I've already reviewed this product once before, okay? So we're gonna get into why exactly I felt that I needed a second unit and what exactly the use case for this particular build is gonna be. So let's get straight into it. All right, and so as I said, we've already taken a look at a Spiritus chest rig here previously on the channel, okay? And so I've got my Ranger Green model off to the side here, right? And frankly, I've been running this both as a chest rig and as a placard for my plate carrier, if you will, right? And so I'm thinking that I do have a plate carrier Cry Precision JPC 2.0 and Ranger Green, and shout out to my subscriber who asked for that video. That video is on the way, but I'm thinking that I am going to use this as a dedicated chest rig or placard, if you will, for that plate carrier, okay? And so I began the search to look for yet another everyday kind of chest rig, if you will, something that I can wear every time I go out to the range and get a little dirty, okay? And so naturally, I went back to Spiritus Systems. They've got some really great stuff between them and Haley Strategic. Like I've said it before, they've pretty much got the game cornered, okay? And so I went back this time for an M81, aka Woodland, aka God's Plaid. Shout out to all my Woodland boys out there. Aside from the fact that we got a rig in Woodland, right? We pretty much have the exact same components that we had on our Ranger Green rig, with the exception of the sack pouch, which kind of hangs from the bottom sector, if you will, okay? And of course, we did have a few what I like to call expander wing style products for our Ranger Green rig, right? We can see our now discontinued, evidently, Shaw Concepts Shawshank hanging out over here to the side. And so on this particular model, as I said, right, no sack currently, no expander wings currently, but I do have quite a few accessories sitting here off to the side. So what we're gonna do now is get into my philosophy for this build, kind of what I'm thinking, and we'll go ahead and actually build that out here together, right? And so as I said, I've got a few products here from Spiritus to kind of build this rig out to more than kind of the minimalist Mk4 that you see in front of us right now. Some folks will like to have it that slimmed down. For me, I like to have a little bit more on there just for aesthetics and for practicality, right? And so the first thing we've got here is the Nalgene water bottle pouch, okay? And so this one's again in keeping, I should say, with the idea that I'll be using this kind of just as a range day rig. I always have a Nalgene bottle out there with me. They're just reliable, they're cheap, you know, they're more or less disposable, but they pretty much never fail you. I always have one with me, and so I'm going to go ahead and take this. My plan with this, of course, is just to use it as a water bottle carrier. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. Now, in addition to that, we do have a small GP pouch here in M81 Woodland. Now, I do wish that I could have gotten this Nalgene pouch in Woodland for whatever reason. They make this in multicam and most of the other colors, but aside from multicam, I think that's the only variety that's offered in a camo. So they don't have an M81 matching version of the Nalgene water bottle pouch, which is a bit of a letdown, but neither here nor there, right? So we've got the small GP pouch here on the left. Now this, according to Spiritus, is sized to fit your dual tube night vision nods, if you will. I don't currently have nods. I do have plans to acquire some in the future, so feel free to subscribe, help me get there if you will, if you feel so inclined. And so we've got this pouch here. I'll probably just use this for miscellaneous GP items, first aid, IFAC, snacks, things like that, right? Again, it's going to be an everyday range rig. So there's that. Now, we've got these pieces on here, right? But we certainly haven't covered how we're going to mount them, right? And if we take a look at these, we'll see that they are MOLLE in one way or another, right? They're MOLLE mounted pouches, okay? And so again, the plan is to put the water bottle on the user left side, all right? So that this doesn't interfere with my ability to shoulder a rifle or pistol, if you will. And then we'll put our small GP pouch on the right. It's a little bit more low profile, and I should be able to shoulder my rifle clear above that GP pouch, okay? So that's the philosophy for the build. Now, this is the glue, if you will. This is exactly, this is essentially, I should say, what's going to tie this all together and what's gonna make it possible, right? And so I mentioned that Spiritus, once upon a time, they did offer something similar to the expander wing style product that I have here on my Ranger Green rig, right? We can see that this is actually a Cry Precision pouch, right? I use it as a radio pouch, mag storage, things like that. Spiritus, once upon a time, did offer a product pretty much identical to that, right? It was Spiritus branded. You could run them off of either side for additional mags, radios, etc. Now, Spiritus has kind of moved away from that, and they've introduced their Thing 1 and Thing 2 chest rig expansion systems, is what I like to call them, right? So this that we have here in front of us is the Thing 2, okay? And so this is the big boy to the Thing 1. I'll roll a picture in on the screen. But essentially the Thing 1, right, is just a hook and loop panel for you to mount your microfight to, and it's got 2 pouches on either side for you to drop in extra mags or radios, right? And so if you just need a few extra mags or maybe a radio pouch, the Thing 1 is a one-stop solution. Now, the Thing 2, as we said, kind of a big brother to that, in the sense that it's got these aramid moly mounting areas, if you will, right? This aramid fiber, kind of pseudo carbon fiber style material. We see this a lot from Axle Advanced, okay? And so it's going to be very rigid, it's going to be very reliable, but it's going to also expand your ability to mount other moly style solutions to your chest rig, right? So innately, right, we've just got a few straps, and that's pretty much all you had to work with the Thing 2. And I'll show you how that works here in a bit. We've got not only the ability to drop things on to either side with moly, but if we flip this over here, we'll see that integrated into the back side of the Thing 2 is essentially those expander wings that we talked about before, right? So I'll pull a mag out here real quick. We'll drop that in, right? If we take out 2 mags, let's see if those fit here together. I've actually not tried this. All right, so 2 mags fits just fine. Let's try a radio on the other side. All right, good old Baofeng. Let's drop that in there. All right, so you have the ability to not only instantly expand your Spiritus Mk4 in the way of moly mounted solutions, but also with these integrated back pouches, if you will, right? And that's essentially... All right, and we're back after fumbling that Heineken there. Okay, and so what I was saying was what essentially drew me to the Thing 2 was the ability to not only have the moly up front, but the expansion pouches in back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and put this thing together and see how it all ties up. All right, so as we get ready to break this down and throw it onto our Thing 2 here, we'll notice that, well, we've got some snaps attached to the Thing 2 right off the bat, right? And so the first thing that I'm able to do here is to go ahead and remove my existing snaps from my microfight, right? We won't be needing those for this particular application. All right, and so we won't be needing those just because we've got them already mounted on here, right? So we'll be able to quickly throw this on here. So I'll show you how that works, right? So the second thing that we'll want to do is flip over our microfight. And if you have one of these at home or you're following along, what you'll do is go ahead and peel off this nylon backing here, okay? And that's gonna, of course, reveal some hook and loop. Now, this is the same way that you would mount this to a plate carrier or pretty much any other solution that has a hook and loop for attaching a placard or chest rig, okay? And so in this case, we're gonna take it and we're gonna stick it on the other end of the hook and loop that we've got on our Thing 2, okay? So we press that in there and we've instantly got a microfight now mounted to a Thing 2, right? So first step done, all right? And so we can also go ahead, and I'll just do this now. We'll go ahead and snap our snaps into the Thing 2 now. All right, and so now that that's done, we can instantly see that, right, the microfight is a lot wider, right? This is a lot closer to a full-sized, what you might call a duty or deployment chest rig, right? A lot wider, but we still haven't put any pouches on there, right? So most of you guys at home will be familiar with how to use moly. I'll do this in time lapse, but essentially we're gonna weave these through the aramid moly looping there, and of course interfacing it back into the pouch and tying that together. So I'll do that now. All right, guys, and so after some trial and error, pretty much whenever you're doing moly webbing, it's trial and error unless you've just developed a taste for it, right, and a knack for it. But after some trial and error, we've got these on the way that I like them. Okay, so we've got our Nalgene pouch there. We've got our small GP here to the left. All right, and so now we'll just kind of give everything kind of a test fit. I do have a Nalgene here. which sits nicely there. And of course, this will be on the user's left side. Okay, and then of course, let's just see how everything kind of interfaces with either side. I'd probably run this battery, I'm sorry, not this battery, but this Baofeng behind that Nalgene, right? I could also run an additional radio here if I felt so inclined, but let's just, again, let's put some more mags back there. We got a few Lancer mags, let's drop those in. All right, and so just like that, we've taken our chest rig, right, which before was pretty slim down. We had 3 mags. I've got kind of the GP Velcro pouch cover here, right? Pretty much nothing in there. I got a spare mag in there for now, right? You could, of course, put first aid, additional supplies in here, pistol mags, whatever it is that you like. But essentially, we went from a very slim down rig with 3 mags to now a 5 mag rig with additional storage. We've got water, we've got radio, and we've got GP, right? So this, of course, will be at some point filled out with my first aid supply. And I think, you know, I might go so far as to add a drop down pouch here, right? And so I'll show you guys quickly how that'll look, and I'll use the Ranger green pouch that I've got for my my old rig. So kind of breaking everything down here, right? One thing that I noticed on the Thing 2 that kind of caught me off guard that I didn't quite expect, but it kind of makes a lot of sense now, is you got this kind of envelope style pouch here in the back, right? And again, it's hook and loop as we've seen before, but if I'm not mistaken, right, this is going to be used to drop in your sack pouches, right? Now, previously, you would drop that in back here between your, well, what was once a nylon backer, right, and the microfight itself. I think to kind of keep this as fixed to the structure of the Thing 2, they have added this kind of envelope slot here for you to drop in your sack pouches. All right, guys, so I've got my sack pouch from my Ranger green rig, right? Nothing much in this at the moment. Okay, and so what we're gonna do is try to slide that into that kind of envelope style backing on the Thing 2. Now, usually when you do this just like that, it usually gets stuck and hung up on the way in, since this is actually lined with hook and loop on the inside. And so what I like to do, just a quick tip, if you have a sheet of paper, you can take that and fold it roughly to the width of your Velcro panel. All right, take that, and you can use that piece of paper to kind of help you slide it in. All right, and once it's in there, you just have to begin the task of removing that without removing your the placement of the item itself. So it's in there, press it down. Not a perfect job, but let's flip it over and see how it looks for now. Okay, and so just like that, that's essentially what a fully built out microfight, at least as envisioned by Spiritus, would look like. Now, of course, I can go out and get one of these in M81, which I certainly will do. But now I've got, right, the ability to, additionally, I could get a larger GP pouch for this side, or an additional one in the same size. So you really have the modularity, again, coming right back to the Spiritus game plan, if you will, right? The idea is to start with a core, a chassis, if you will, and build out from there, right? And now they've kind of added what I would call even more of a chassis in this Thing 2 setup, okay? And so, all in all, I'm pretty pleased with this. I'll have to get out and get dirty in it and see how it holds up, right? With this full of water, this full of gear and supplies. All right, but before we go, let's take a quick look at everything else that we have here, right? So the GP pouch, very simple, just a regular pouch up front, nothing special about that. And on the inside, of course, you do have your Velcro lining. Always nice if you have the Spiritus Velcro loop inserts or any other inserts, maybe battery, chem light inserts, you can drop those in here and have your items kind of fixed to the backing instead of just kind of rolling around, right? But this is a pretty good size pouch. I can fit my whole hand in there. Again, this is said to be able to fit your dual tube night vision style solutions, right? So your nods should be okay in there, right? Provided you don't bump them into anything. And then the Nalgene pouch, right? Now, the Nalgene pouch actually includes some additional hardware so that you can kind of fasten and lock your Nalgene down in there if you feel so inclined. Okay, and so if we take a look at it, right, we'll see that it's got kind of a lid strap which pulls down over top just to make sure that I have the ability at any time to tie that down and keep this from jumping off, right? Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I actually did not have to use the bungee at all. So what they've done here, and I think we saw that very much the way that they use, you know, these kind of quick attach clips. You slide in one end here and the other end here, the same way that you would do on any of the loops on your existing microfight. And you have the ability, right, once we of course drop a bottle in there, pull that down, and now that clip is fixed to the carrier itself, or the Nalgene pouch itself, and I can just simply tie that down and keep it taut as I need it to be, right? Now this of course is not a traditional Nalgene. I like the stainless steel ones just because they kind of wear and tear over time, which looks kind of nice. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased with this with the solution. I mean, it's well built. We'll have to see how it holds up over time, but you know, on first impressions, it seems to be in keeping with the Spiritus name and reputation for quality. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. If there's anything else that you guys would like to see in the way of chest rigs, plate carriers, or nylon clothing, if you will, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what it is that you'd like to see next. But without further ado, I'm gone.